Welcome to episode 12 of Model Airport Reviews, the series in which I review your model airports. In this second to last episode of this season of Model Airport Reviews, I will review 12 of your airports. 3 of these airports will progress to the Grand Finale episode, which takes place in a live stream half December before Christmas. 1 Grand Finalist I will pick and the other 2 you can pick by commenting down below in the comments which airports you think should progress. Let's get started. Here is Airport de Grand Palma, located in Spain. A huge model airport with the Gemini Jets terminal, a bunch of aircraft stands, and most importantly, it's beautifully lit up. Lights in the ground like the blue ones over here, a bunch of these grey light poles which lights in there which actually work, and the best part being the aircraft also having lights installed. Incredible detail. In the see-through jet bridge you can see passengers boarding the aircraft, and this is also lit up of course. And some cool details in the ground service vehicles, like this ground power unit on the right here, which has an actual cable running to the aircraft providing electricity whilst parked on the ground. From the top the airport looks ultra realistic. And also the parking lot has cars which have actual lights and so much detail and scenery. Here you see the light system under the airport, which I think is done with Arduino boards. Very nicely structured. And inside the model see also installed lights like this. And this is what the inside of the ground service equipment looks like. So much work, but for such an incredible looking model airport. This is Lake Superior International Airport in Thunder Bay, Canada. An awesome model airport which I'd like to show to you because of the use of Lego. The remote stands on this airport have these light poles made out of Legos, and they look really nice. Also in the background of this lovely Swiss A340 behind the ATC tower is a tree made out of Legos, which you can see on the top right here as well. And this radar tower is of course also made out of Lego. For any of you Lego builders out there, take this as inspiration for your own airport, as Lake Superior International did a really neat job with it. Here is Durango-La Plata County Airport in Colorado, the USA. A replica of the real airport. So let's check that using Google Earth. Here we have the airport, and when we compare the two, he's done a neat job. This strip of modeling grass could be a bit less wide, that way you could have positioned this taxiway further from the runway. Though on the terminal side of things, the terminal looks nice with the lettering of the airport name on there. And I like the looks of this parking lot with the cars, the trees and the grey fence. Overall a nice recreation of the actual airport. This is Miami Regional Airport, a 1 to 200 scale airport, mostly built out of paper. And he has done a cool job. Nice ground markings, the terminal looks fine, I like the letters with the US flag, and a nice detail is the blue sky background. Though what this person really is a photography expert. A lovely shot of this Cayman Airways taking off with a very colorful livery on the tail. And also this fantastic shot of a United Airlines 737 touching down with actual smoke coming from the tires and the flaps being in a landing position. This right here might be my favorite picture of this season of Model Airport Reviews. Really an awesome job on the photography. This is Llanos Air Base in Spain, a 1 to 500 scale airbase, which looks ultra realistic, even though it's only got 6 models, of which 3 very tiny fighter jets. But I'd like to show you why this looks so realistic. The first reason is the ground service equipment. Passengers boarding the aircraft, an actual presidential convoy, tiny orange and white cones around the aircraft, and so many military colored vehicles. Really adding to the realism of this military airbase. Also, I really like this construction site with all of the necessary vehicles looking really neat. Next to the vehicles, the ground markings and scenery look really cool as well. With the different tints of grey surface, the concrete tiles with some cracks in the concrete, and the terrain around it with the grass tufts looks really nice as well. Really a fantastic job. This is Los Angeles International Airport Terminal B, an extension of it. Everything is self-built, mostly out of wood, and it's got space for quite a bunch of aircraft models. On the left he has got 2 highways and a parking lot on the left, a lovely cargo center, and I like the FedEx branding on there. On the air side, he's got a nice background of the actual LAX airport. I love the smoke coming off the A380, and the taxiway signs here are a nice detail as well. On the cargo section, he has got this aircraft engine being loaded into the nose of this 747, which is an awesome sight to see. I think if you add a bit more aircraft models to the airport to make it look more alive, you've got a very nice looking airport. Next we go to the Bahamas, where we have Inagua International Airport. A tiny tropical looking model airport. It features a terminal with 5 aircraft stands, a small taxiway and then a runway with nice scenery around it. The terminal is nice because it's lit up and it's got an actual interior. I like the different styles on the left and on the right, where on the left he has got the larger aircraft being handled, and on the right he has got the regional section with the tiny propeller airplanes. I like the cables that you added on the roof, and the palm trees add the tropical effect here. Talking about the tropical effect, in between the runway and the taxiways, he added this nice scenery, different tints of green moss with some red flowers and palm trees. I hope you will still add some very tropical looking background instead of the blue, and a few more aircraft models would be a nice addition as well. Here is Los Amares International Airport, located in Portugal. It's a nice looking airport. A runway, taxiway and 2 aircraft stands. The ground markings look nice. I like the gate numbers that he added and also the different stop positions at the end of the taxiway lines for different aircraft types. Though I'm really thinking, why is there so much space in between the runway and taxiway? And couldn't you have added more room for aircraft models? By moving the taxiway closer to the runway or placing this radar tower on another spot on the airport, enabling more aircraft models to fit on one airport. Though 42 aircraft stands he does have, he does make it look very nice. Ground service vehicles around the aircraft, a custom-owned airline flying to Llanos Air Airport, West End Airlines with an A340 and an A330, and this picture of this Jet 2 shining in the sun, looking nice as well. So except for the interesting planning on the airport, I think you have done a fantastic job. Moving to Greece, where we have Mykonos International Airport. A nice looking airport with a Mediterranean landscape. He's got a huge terminal, which I think he built himself. On the left, he added an access road and parking places and some nice scenery. On the air side then, there are a bunch of Pegasus Airbuses, surrounded by a bunch of ground service vehicles. And what I like are the looks of the light poles. A simple red and white stick with a red dot on top, but it does add a nice effect. Taking a closer look at this Eurowings then, the ground markings are very detailed, the different tints of grey are nice, the yellow taxiway lines with a black outline and the weathering along the taxiway line are very cool to see. And also the surrounding scenery with the sand and grass tufts. Overall a lovely Mediterranean airport. Next we go to the UK, where we have RAF Odiham in the south of England, which was a real airbase used in D-Day. With a single RAF airplane, the Douglas C-47 Dakota, being distinctive by the white black stripes called the D-Day invasion stripes. And the aircraft is surrounded by a bunch of crew, loading up all of the weapons, marshalling on the bottom right, or just cycling past on the top left. And the scenery around it is very nice. It's not just plain modeling grass, but he added some irregularities to it, and I also like the tiny bits of moss he added. Really a nice diorama of an important piece of history. This is Strat Midway Regional Airport in Strode, Oklahoma. A lovely US airport with a self-built terminal. I like the trees in the center with the cars driving around it. The terminal has an interior with waiting areas and passengers. He's got a nice collection of US models. I like the branding on the jet bridges. Around the aircraft are actual airport workers walking around, and I also like the cones. At night the airport lights up with these tiny light poles, altogether making it look like a nice model airport. And finally we take a look at Trent Valley Airport in the East Midlands. Quite a simple model airport with a terminal, a few aircraft stands and a taxiway. But he did add a very cool detail. On the left he has got 3 standard aircraft stands. But on the right here, he's got 2 aircraft stands where either 2 narrow-body aircraft fit, like over here, or 1 wide-body aircraft, which will stand at the center yellow line. This is a way airports can maximize capacity, and he nicely implemented it on his airport. The lineup of British Airways aircraft here looks really nice. And overall he has got a nice collection of aircraft models on his airport. Which brings us to the end of this video. And now it's time to give awards. The airport with the best lighting is Airport the Grand Palma, with lights installed in the airport ground, the airplane models and the ground service vehicles. For creativity, Llanos Air Base wins my pick. A really nice military airbase with a bunch of ground service equipment. Nice scenery and therefore earning the creativity badge in my opinion. For realism, Miami Regional Airport wins this one. I really like this image of this United Airlines touching down on the runway. And that leaves us with the editor's pick. Los Llanos Airport will progress to the grand finale as my pick. And you can choose 2 more airports by commenting down below the airport names that you think should progress to the grand finale as well. That's it then. Thanks for watching. Please consider to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.